So I think I'll now call our first speaker, Aditya. Um, Aditya, hope you're here.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You can turn on your video. Thanks, Aditya.
Yeah.
I'll introduce Aditya. Aditya is a 23-year-old BA graduate, Bengaluru with a dysgraphia and about a year of work experience. He has been a self-advocate and taken part in many discussions. So welcome, Aditya. Thank you so much for agreeing to be the speaker for today's event. Over to you.
Thank you. Um, so, um, um, uh, Please forgive me. I tend to stutter. Um, so, to me, I think if we just go chronologically, advocating for oneself, for myself, has been um, an issue of feeling sort of um, independent and um, uh, it has allowed me to um, it has allowed me to uh, really it has allowed me to not only sort of um, describe uh, what every what it's like to be with to have a disability, but also it's really it's allowed me to um, just by the sort of just in the act of doing so, it's allowed me to have these like almost magical interactions wherein I could simply tell someone that I, as a person with dyslexia, um, do not have any um, like just the fact that I am not the same as a person with intellectual disabilities, describing my experience in that way, right, has in itself led to um, people going down these rabbit holes, metaphorical rabbit holes of discovery of neurodivergence. I mean, obviously, there's a lot to learn in that particular sphere. So, but the ability to actually see that. Sort of light being sort of like lit up, so to speak, that interest being shown. So I would say that um, I mean, not to toot my own, actually, I'm not, not even to not toot my own horn, so to speak, but I feel like just pretty much from the time I've been diagnosed, I have been, whether intentionally or unintentionally, engaging in self advocacy. Um, Not just in the sense that, like, when I'm in class, like when I was in class, when I was in the Brindavan Education Trust, right, their school. Um, it's not just that when I was there, like we would have these like sessions wherein we could write to um, uh, like larger media houses and whatnot. I don't quite recall. I was quite young the first time that happened. Mm, so I can't really give too many proper noun examples for that particular phenomenon. But also, just the fact that I could say, "Oh, I went to this place. Is that not a special needs school?" I'd say, "Yes, it's a special needs school." But there's nothing like strange about it. You're not entering into the X-Men's Charles Xavier's uh, like school for the gifted, and then you enter and people are, like throwing are doing the Rain Man thing where they throw them, are doing Rain Man things, and there's like it's not like that. It was normal to the point that honestly, I think most people would find it. Most people who only would have heard about places like special schools that help for special needs, schools that help out, help educate people with special needs, and other such institutions. It is so different from their preconceived notions that that in itself, to show that 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 while being disabled is an important part of my personality, it is not the only part of my personality. That in itself, I feel is like an act of self advocacy. And then, so yes, I would say that the my journey sort of began there. So even though formally I would say it only began a few years ago, started off there. And then after that, basically all through my primary and secondary schooling, I was able to um, uh, 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 I was able to, through everything from field trips to to sort of desensitization of my own to differences, because one thing that I feel, one gift that I feel that being in a special school gave me, that I didn't really talk about, and that's why and I feel like this one had all of my classmates also been in quote unquote mainstream schools, and had they been accommodated, this is something that I feel that more people could get, right? Is you're just desensitized to to behavior patterns, and to um, ways of thinking that are very different from your own. So so the fact that um, like when I was waiting at the when I was like say when I was waiting in line for my disability certificate, if a child, if I noticed a child having a difficult time due to sensory issues, or if I noticed someone behavior whose behavior was out of the norm, I wouldn't be like this one native. I wouldn't feel afraid or freaked out, and they would look at me, and they'd see that this this piece of documentation for which they sort of one person actually told me this. It's during my internship in Rajasthan. Basically, essentially, when they before, it was something, the experience was something tinged with a feeling of discomfort, in the sense of, am I the kind of person who has to come here? But then when they would see just like this very quote unquote normal looking person, they'd be reminded that, oh right, this is just a bureaucratic formality that that I would do in any place. If I had to go to a government hospital or a government office, I would have to do similar formalities, and then the that whole thought would leave them. People step. No, no, no big deal. Like that's legitimately something, and that feels so empowering. And then finally, when I got to um, the point where I was able to attend my first self advocacy event um, as a speaker, um, it was on another level, I must say the endorphin rush itself, of being able to say that I am, being able to say that I am a person with disabilities, but that doesn't mean that there's that's the only thing about me. And to actually hear that just accidentally, just by describing just by describing how things, how life is for me, right? I would be like accidentally debunking myths. That's very powerful. So self advocacy to me is um, uh, like empowering myself, right? So yeah, that and so as a result, after my initial self advocacy sort of talk that I gave, which again, if I'm not wrong, which was held by Mitra for Life and Brindavan Education Trust, I got I was sort of bitten by the metaphorical bug, and I really started to come out of my shell. And um, like right now as well, I feel empowered. Like I know that I'm talking to a lot of people with different sets of um, uh, ideas, and everything. So the and after my internship in Rajasthan, which was in an inclusive, which was in an inclusive school, now I feel like I've grown even more. And I feel that that need for self advocacy has grown even more within me. And yeah, that would be all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. It was very interesting that you pointed out how, self advocacy for you is empowering, and just describing your lived experiences is a form of advocacy, and also acknowledging disability identity, but not as the only identity. That's, I think, very important. And also normalizing the experiences of special school was really something that was a takeaway for me. Thanks so much, Aditya, for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Um, shall we now move on to the next speaker? Or